The definition, fading the rules of a backlit sun.
Whenever you're ready, my friend.
Super. It's nice to be here on the Sunday Spin. It's a song I wrote about 20 years ago. Climbing the mountain backward, seeing only where you've been. Feel the warm sun on your back. You watch your shadow growing long and thin. Climbing the mountain backward, with poets and profiteers. Find a small child on your path. You carry them for just a few short years. You pass ancient temples, giant armies, and the castles we played in when we were only kids. Soaring eagles, fields of barley, this broken taxi is still climbing. Climbing the mountain backward. You rip the soles out of your shoes. Ah, what the hell is life good for? If you can't learn to live with what you lose. You lose the temples, lose the armies, and the forests we played in when we were only kids. Soaring eagles, fields of barley, this broken taxi is still climbing. Captain, come in and give me fire on the way. 'Cause I'm fine, but not tonight. Tonight I'm burned out, but I'm climbing up the mountain, past ancient temples and the castles we played in when we were only kids. Soaring eagles, fields of barley, this broken taxi is climbing.
The musical stylings of Mr. Joe U. Vegas. Joe, welcome to the Sunday Spin. What a treat what a wonderful way to start the show, Vinny.
Wow, he's a very brave man, isn't he? And he nailed it. Joe, thank you so much. You've made history here on the Sunday Spin.
It's not the first time, Vinny. It's not the first time.
Speaking of which, absolutely, if the face looks familiar from another one of our fine family of Technicolor Dreams channels, Greno, Joe's been with us before.
Yes, yeah. Joe's a fine contributor to the community in so many ways. And man, we've been able to cross paths in so many different ways with music and other endeavors in life. It's what a gift. I mean, it's tremendous. And Joe, we want to thank you for joining us on the Sunday Spin today and ask you how you're doing on this wonderful Sunday.
You know, I'm doing good, Greno. I feel like when you asked me to do this, I was thinking, well, what do I really want to share? and obviously it's a few songs, and maybe some of my story,
Yes, absolutely.
So you and I know each other from the cannabis industry, and that's how we met. And
Yeah.
I've known you now for more than 5 years. You realize that? It's been
I know it's
5.5 years.
time
And Brittany,
flies.
I don't know where we've met before, but was it somewhere in that realm as well?
No, sir, I'm afraid not. We've actually never met. But I was referring to your knockout visit on Greno's award-winning cannabis related show called
Yeah,
Stir the Pot.
it was a special event. It really was.
It
Yeah,
was my
so,
favorite show. What could I say? I'd never miss it. So I feel like I've met you, Joe.
There you
Absolutely.
go. There you
It's
go.
a pleasure.
Fantastic. So yeah, where I am right now, I'm 6 years into that work. As of this week is my 6-year anniversary. I'm also, I'm playing a pretty fair amount. COVID was really destructive for the musical community, as you both know. In that course of a year and a half, I lost 100 shows, which
God.
is pretty devastating. When that's a big part of your income.
Yes.
But it's nice to have things opening up a little bit now. I had a show at Stargazers a week ago, and it was just beautiful. We had 300 people.
Wow,
I do a band called the Bus Band, and we do a lot of originals too. But we did a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young tribute that night, and that was simply magical. But it's all about harmony with those guys. So I won't be doing any of that stuff tonight. And, beyond that, my life is beautiful. I'm fortunate in some ways, and we've had some tragedies. We lost our son 5.5 years ago. That was incredibly devastating. His name was Andrew. You have a couple choices to take when those kind of devastations happen to you. And credit my wife and I, we've done some beautiful inner work, and we're in a better place than we've ever been. And I feel, grateful to God, grateful to the community of friends and family that we have here, and grateful to be here today.
That's great, Joe. Wow, we really appreciate your transparency, my friend. Just with everything in life, because as Vinny and I and for a musician, just as it is for all people, it's about ups and downs, and it's getting through those down times when you rise up to the top. And Joe, I know I've seen you perform myself a few times now, and especially on an intimate scale, like you performed on Stir the Pot. I mean, it's wonderful, the things that you're doing with your music. And we always want to know, how are those seeds sown? Like, how did all that start for you? We're really always curious on that spin about that.
For me, it started a long time ago. I wrote my first song when I was I can actually remember it. It was a song I wrote on the piano. I was probably 18, 17, something like that. And, and I didn't really consider myself, I didn't seriously think about being a songwriter until I moved to Colorado. So I was 27, 28 by the time I got to Colorado. And I had performed a few times in college. It was cover tunes, Jackson Browne, Neil Young, stuff like that, John Prine. And I knew that I had a gift for performing. I knew that part about me, but I really wasn't confident as a songwriter. When I moved here, I stopped to visit with a high school friend of mine named Jim Sokol, who's still in the band, the Bus Band. S is Sokol, and we started just jamming in his living room, and it was magical. We had this incredible vocal blend, and one day I brought a song to him, and then he brought some ideas for lyrics to me, and we wrote like 5 or 6 songs in the course of I don't know, a week and a half or so, and then we entered a songwriting contest at Poor Richard's restaurant downtown, and we won it. And that led to a gig, and then that led to another gig, and then I just started writing very seriously. I mean, I was writing 100 songs, 150 songs a year. I mean, I was really, really intensely into it.
Yeah.
You kind of get, you get focused on, like, I got to get famous, you know what I mean? So then you do all this stuff to, you generate, back then you're generating email lists and house concert opportunities and all those things. And it was all beautiful. I mean, I had some success, but it's never enough. I mean, when you're in this realm, you might have some success. This Greno was a player. You might have a decent band. You start to gig for a while, things go pretty well, and then somebody has a baby, or somebody dies. You just never know what's going to happen in the industry. in the
Very
work that you're doing in the world. And then, you know, but I've been fortunate. I've been playing with Jim Sokol and this guy named KJ Braithwaite for more than 30 years now. And then we've added an incredible bass player named Randy Block, who owns Green Mountain Studios. And then KJ's son, Daniel, who goes by Daniel Nash, is just a national class drummer. And we've had a lot of fun with that. So yeah, the singer-songwriter thing, I've got 9 albums out, you know, I'm still working that plane, but you know, it's much less about being famous. It's really about just these opportunities like this tonight, right? This thing that we're doing right now, this beautiful half an hour we get to share together, you know?
Beautiful. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, what amazing perspective, right, Vinny? Jeez.
Well, sure. And you know, I love the fact that, and obviously Greno, it touched my heart when he said it was a high school buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, that says it all, G, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the journey that we've had with some of our friends from the 64, and you know, again, Vinny and I can go back 40 years now as friends and musical cohorts. It's these friendships are just like family, and
it's yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off, G.
No.
You're so right, but
no,
we've also, I mean, for the last 60 odd weeks, we've been talking about that there's going to come a time, there's going to be a renaissance. You know, the Pipers are going to be called back.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to say that at least here, we're on the breach of that. And I got to believe from what I'm hearing from your neck of the woods, G, it's the same. How are things where you are as far as an undercurrent, Joe, a murmur, if you will?
You mean in terms of the world opening back up again?
Musically, yes.
Musically, yeah. Well, I feel really fortunate right now because I've got 3 projects that I'm doing. So I'm doing the bus band, I'm doing my solo thing, and then my daughter Katie is a violinist and a vocalist. And we're playing a show next Saturday night on the 2nd of April at Jives Coffee House over in Old Colorado City from 6 to 8 p.m. So it's an early show. But Katie's she's got a beautiful voice. She's a good violinist. And we have really kind of, it's a neat, you know, vocal blend. You know, the father-daughter blend is kind of magical. You know what I mean? I have to say she's got a better voice than I do, but she puts up with me, you know? So yeah, I think it's opening. Vinny. I feel like there's opportunities out there. I know venues are starting to crack open. You know, it's funny for me because I've been playing for so long. I have my demographic has aged. You know what I mean? So my demographic is still somewhat fearful of COVID. So I'm not seeing, I mean, we had 300 people at the Stargazers, which is a really good night, right? I mean, Colorado Springs, that's a really darn good night.
Yeah.
But there was still a lot of people there that I expected to have there, and they weren't there. And some of them texted me, said, Joe, I just don't feel comfortable going out yet.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's okay. It'll happen in time, you know?
It is going to happen. Absolutely. How about another song, Joe?
Read my mind, Vinny. Yes. Thank you. Beautiful sounds of Joe
So this song, guys, this came out of the Prodigal Son story, and the story itself is a really compelling story. And about 12 years ago, I wrote the song of the Prodigal Son from the perspective of a pig that the prodigal son feeds when he's lost his fortune and he's stuck on a swine farm, you know. But I'm not going to play that one for you. And then about 2 weeks later, I wrote the story of the father who's welcoming the son back home, and that's a really beautiful song. But I'm not going to play that one for you either. And then I tried to write the song from the perspective of the brother and the prodigal son, who at the end of the story is kind of pissed off that his father's other son has left and squandered his fortune, and then come back and his father throws this big party for him. Okay. And he's pissed. And for those people in the world who tend to do things too right, and I was one of those people at one time, you know, it's hard to relate to the acceptance of a person back who's been lost or has struggled in some deep, difficult way. And my son's death really gave me the gift of seeing myself in a whole new way, that I'm struggling too, and I'm broken as hell. Anyway, so this song is a song of the brother, and I tried to write this song for 10 years. And I was journaling about 2 years after my son's death, and the whole thing poured out. This is called The Broken One. I do not understand what I'm doing here in this story full of broken parts. When we were children, we would share each other's dreams. Now we've come to break each other's hearts. When you first shuffled off the morning in the sky, I truly wished you all the best. Sure, you took half the riches from the coffers that we shared, but I never dreamed you'd turn out such a mess. But you came back, and all is well, except for the part of me that knows how far you fell. And I stayed here, so full of who I have become, but I'm not sure that you're the broken one. And each morning when I rise, I do the work in. The orchard knows my daily touch. The sheep and cattle always beckon to my call, but my own voice I do not trust. 'Cause there's a stone inside I try to work around. I can feel it shaping me, and no matter what I do, it just never is enough. And I am afraid of what I'll see. If I come back, we'll all be well. Yeah, and what if I can't recognize myself? 'Cause I stayed here, so full of who I have become, that I'm not sure that you're the broken one. Now from the pasture I hear the banquet drums, calling all the commons celebrate. And though I know my Father loves me without fail, I cannot help but feel a bit ashamed. Drawn by the cymbals and the voices in the air, I feel my feet carry me along. I do not hesitate when I see you there, and I am just so grateful in your arms. 'Cause we are back, and all is well. Yeah, and we can hardly recognize ourselves, 'cause we are here, so glad of who we have become. It doesn't matter that we were broken once. It doesn't matter that we were broken once.
Ladies and gents, the musical stylings of Mr. Joe U. Vegas. Joe, that was beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I love the introspective nature of your songs. That's just my intuitive sense, but I love it. Yeah, it's, man. You said you have 9 records out? You said?
Yeah, 9. Yeah, and that one's not even on an album. That the one I just played, I wrote that a couple years ago and just have not been able to get back in the studio. But you know, you have to write what you're given. You know, Greno, this is the call for every songwriters. You know, I mean, there's work that you can do. Some people are just natural pop song wizards. You know what I mean? They just what they. I mean, Taylor Swift. I mean, the girl's writing unbelievable stuff at 17 years old, right? just incredibly talented. But you know, talent runs in every direction, and you just have to take whatever your gift is, and you have to roll with your gift, whatever it may be. And I'm definitely an introspective songwriter. You know, I mean, I've written stuff that I think should have been a hit. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
But you do what you do, and don't apologize for it, and move forward.
No need to apologize, sir. We love what you've got going on, and it's wonderful, man. Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely. And, you know, for my money, there's a big difference between a songwriter and a storyteller. You know, they do mash, certainly, in our business as much as any, but there are people who can write songs. Then there are people who can tell stories in those songs.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a finer example. Could you, Greno?
No, man, it's
all right there. Yeah,
This is-
absolutely beautiful, Joe.
Thank you.
I just want to throw out, this is a wonderful format. I hope the people that are watching today, and I know you Sunday Spin loyalists, I love you. We love you. We really enjoy this format. We want to encourage more folks to come on and perform. Again, we know it's not everyone's niche, but Joe, I mean, you're really opening up a whole new world for the Sunday Spin, and we just want to thank you for that, because it makes it more fun and interactive to hear some songs, to hear some stories. And again, like you kick the show off with just a wonderful tune. And we want to, be able to let people know how they can access your music. So could you help us out with that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right now, CD Baby is the one place we've got. I think I have 4 or 5 albums there.
Okay.
I have 3 or maybe 3 or 4 of my own, and then one with a woman named Stephanie Pauline, who's a local singer-songwriter, more of a Christian singer-songwriter, and very, very talented vocalist. One of the most extraordinary ears I've ever found in the studio. Anyway, we cut an album in Nashville, and that was just an amazing piece of work. But life gets in the way sometimes, so we never got to promote it quite the way I was hoping. But that's okay. And so in general, Facebook page, Joe U Vegas, a musician, is probably your best bet to get information about where I'm playing. Or my email address is JKUVEGES at PCI, like Paul Cat Institute, SYS, short for systems.net, PCISYS.net. So those are, and I send out an email list. I probably send about 2,000 emails about every 5 or 6 weeks.
Okay, that's great. Awesome.
Yeah, let people know what I've got going on.
A little bit of that. What we'll do is just in a second, I'll get that email again for you, and we'll put that up on the bottom too. Because
well, Joe, if I could please, I'd like to ask about the axe. Yeah. What do you got? How long you've been playing that particular model? And here in this technical, it looks like you got a Fishman pickup on there.
I do. I've actually got
absolutely. I'm a big fan, and I just want to let you know the sound comes through really well. We're here.
Well, interestingly, I mean, right now I'm not even plugged in, so this is just live acoustic right now. I actually have a tandem pickup in this guitar. It's a Takamine, and it's a 1 7/8 inch neck Takamine, so it's a pretty broad neck. I've got really, as you can see from the cinematography, I have very large hands. And in general, this is my go-to guitar for open tuning songs, because it's a cutaway and I can play my way the heck up the neck, and I may do one of those actually a little bit later. But then I have a Taylor that I play a lot. That's a high-end guitar. It's probably, as a guitar I probably have for 20 years. And then I also have a Stranell acoustic, and that's made out of Germany, and it's a very specific, it's a very niche market. All 3 of those guitars are 1 7/8 inch neck, and then I got a Gibson Les Paul that I play on stage and when I'm playing with the band. And I have not a Strat, a Telecaster that actually a guy named John Cooper actually built the neck for me. I hope John's still alive. He's a good luthier in his day. So yes, that's what I'm playing today, the Takamine.
Fabulous.
Great. I'm ready for another tune. I don't know about you, Vinny. I'm loving this.
Yeah, absolutely. Let them roll.
Right, Joe. I know you're feeling it today. You got the mojo, my friend. I can see it.
Let me think about what I want to play though. Do you want me to do something? I'm wondering about. Oh, maybe I don't know. You want? I could do a throwaway. I could do something funny, or I could do. Should I do something funny? Just
Yeah.
quirky. All right.
We love humor on the spin.
Okay. So this song is this song I wrote about growing old. Actually, I had 3 songs in a row that I wrote. The first one was "Don't Call Me Senior." I'm Generation S. Okay, and you know that kind of thing. And that was inspired by a buddy of mine, actually a guy named Mike Tanis. Mike was a longtime massage patient of mine, and he just died last week. I'm 84 years old, beautiful human being, and I'm going to his funeral next weekend, as a matter of fact. Beautiful, beautiful man. And he was the one that gave me the idea of, don't call me senior, I'm Generation S. And then about a week later, I told my wife that I just feel like I'm waking up now, at this age in life. I'm 62 now, and I'm falling apart one part at a time. My wife said, Joe, if you're a real songwriter, you write that song. So this song is called "I'm Falling Apart, One Part at a Time." I'm falling apart, one part at a time. My left knee went bad. I'm losing my sight. My hips started aching. I can't sleep at night. I'm falling apart, one part at a time. I'm falling apart, a little each day. My wrist tells me when the weather will change. My prostate rebels when I eat bread or drink wine. I'm falling apart, one part at a time. My doctor says normal each time I complain. Hands me ibuprofen and sends me away. As I leave his office, my right foot goes numb. I know what he'll tell me, Joe, it's just hypochondria. I'm losing my memory, losing my appetite. The person I live with says, Joe, that's just part of life. She looks familiar. She says she's my wife, which explains why we slept together last night. Dostoevsky says the greatest pleasure in life is to groan and know that someone is listening nearby. So if you're like me and your body's a mess, sing with me now as we all confess. I'm falling apart, I'm falling apart, one part at a time. My left knee went bad, I'm losing my sight. Ladies, my bladder is leaking. Men, I don't trust my farts, I don't trust my farts. What the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm falling apart. That's a throwaway. It's not art. It's just, putting rhyme schemes together and having 1 or 2 funny lines.
Not only is it fantastic and very funny, Joe, but it sounds like it could come off a Loving Spoonful record. You obviously have been listening to a lot of John Sebastian, and that is never a bad thing here at the Sunday Spin, my man.
Never.
A beautiful song, Greno.
It was awesome. Great.
I am a John Sebastian fan, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
You can't go wrong with JS. Absolutely.
Let me talk about the people who inspired me. So,
Please,
obviously I talked about Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. David Crosby for me was my favorite writer in that group. I was a big Harry Chapin fan when I was young. James Taylor, of course. Carly Simon and Carole King were big, and probably Joni Mitchell was probably my favorite female songwriter. that series of albums, Court and Spark and Blue, and just amazing songwriter, you know. And also she did a lot of open tunings, and I do a lot of open tunings. So those are the people I would say probably are the most inspirational. And in present time, Peter Mayer. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Peter Mayer, but he's out of Stillwater, Minnesota, and brilliant songwriter. I've done probably 40 or 50 shows with him over the course of the last 25 years, and both around the country and here in Colorado Springs.
That's tremendous. Wow.
Fabulous. Joe, how did you find Nashville? Because, you know, I have a little bit of time logged in there myself in the outer areas for a lot of reasons, but that can be a tough town to crack, especially for an outsider. What was the experience like for you, sir?
So I went down, I think 4 times total. And what I was told, there was a guy, I used to go to the Lions Folk Festival, to the Songwriters School. And I did that like 3 years in a row back in 1998 to 2001. And there was a really great songwriter there by the name of Steve Seskin. And he had like 6 or 7 number ones. I can't think of any of them off the top of my head. But I approached Steve after like the second day of the second year I was there. And I said, listen, I really want to break the Nashville scene. And he says, Joe, what you got to do is you've got to go down there every 5 to 6 weeks, and you just stay there for the whole weekend, or stay for 3 or 4 days. And you just peddle your stuff to every single person you can. You just hand out tapes, you hand out CDs, whatever you can do. So I decided I was going to do that, you know. So I made it 3 times, and it was just like beating your head against the wall. You know, it really was. And of course, it's imposing when you go down the strip in Nashville, and you just go to bar to bar to bar, and every band is different. Every player is magnificent. Every vocalist is very, very good. Maybe not brilliant, but very, very good. And I got frustrated, you know. And there was a local songwriter, a guy named John Swain, who I was writing songs with back then. And John brought me down there the first time. And we were co-writing some cool things at the time. And John had been trying to pitch in Nashville for 25 years, and just had, you know, and he had one day, a producer called him, and she said, "Are you going to be in Nashville soon?" He said, "Yes, I am." And she said, "I want to meet with you." She said, I heard your song. He'd written a song about a car, and she'd heard it somehow. And she said, "I think that song is brilliant." She said, "I want to hear some other stuff of yours." So he met her at a coffee shop, and he said he was standing there. And as she walked in, she saw him, and he was at the time about like 52 years old. Okay. And he literally saw her face just drop, because he was too old to could she bring him in and maybe make him a songwriter for the label? Yes, but that ended up not happening either. But Nashville's tough. It's really, really tough scene. And, you know, the great thing about this world that we live in now is you can build a market. You know, Cozy, what was that woman's name? Cozy, the woman who wrote Lucky. I'm talking to you. I know. And then I can't think of her name now, but she started busking in Boston, I believe. And then she was just making small, recordings of herself, videos of herself. She ended up building 100,000 person following, and the next thing you know, she hit it big. You know, she's doing a song, doing shows with Jason Mraz and that level. So, but to answer your question, Vinny, Nashville's not a fun place to go.
Well, I got to agree with you. And I knew I was in trouble when, I got off the plane, and the first guitar I heard in the airport was 10 times better than me. And they don't like Bakersfield country there. I had to learn that the hard way too. You don't bring Bakersfield to Nashville. And unfortunately, that's what I'm all about. But long story short, I'm here in California. I can do as I please them musically, and I'm okay with that. I really am, Joe. But before we ask you to do one more song, which I'm going to go ahead and ask in advance, we'd like to give you some shout out time.
Yep.
Share some love. Anyone you say hi to, say thank you to, anybody owe you money at this point? Because we can help with that too. Yeah.
Love it.
Wow, man. There was this one guy, Yeah, I mean, in terms of shout outs, probably to my friend Jim Sokol and KJ Breaker, who I've been playing with forever, and my daughter Katie, of course, and her husband Taylor, and their little Beckett, their little boy. We have a little grandson who came to the world 5 months ago.
Fabulous.
So we're having a blast with him. He's just an incredibly beautiful child and doing all the things that you want him to do, laughing and giggling and not colicky at all. So that's been fun. And my buddy Bruce Greenwald, who was the first person I played music here locally with. He actually we rented an apartment, and Jim Sokol was working with him at the time, and he invited us to come over to his basement to jam. And this is back when Rockmans were a thing. Remember the Rockman? Which gave you this. Gave you that thick sound. I can remember Bruce had one of those, and we plugged into his system. We started jamming, and I was a novice. I was an okay guitar player and a semi-decent piano player at the time. But I think the first song we ever played was "Long May You Run," that Neil Young song. "Long May You Run." That song. I think that was literally the first song I ever played in Colorado in a group setting. And so I have to thank Bruce for that moment.
Yeah.
So, okay, one more.
Yeah. We'll just go ahead right now and say goodbye to everyone. Joe, we want you to do your full song, but we ended the show the same way we started it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on the Sunday Spin. And again, you can find Joe's music online. Check out his Facebook page. He gigs all the time. Joe, thanks for the tips on the upcoming shows as well. And we'll be back next week. We got full strength from here on, you guys, taking you into the summer with the Sunday Spin. So thank you guys for joining us each and every week. And the faithful, we love you guys. I see all the comments. Don't really have time to have them today, but man, you guys are wonderful. And Joe, again, thank you so much for everything that you do and all the positivity you bring into this world, my friend. So glad and thankful to call you my brother.
Thank you, Greno. God bless you. Vinny, lovely to meet you, buddy.
Thank you. And it won't be the last time, Joe. I can assure you that. Thank you for your time. And don't forget to listen to my man Greno tomorrow on the Groove Yard, KCOS Digital Media. We'll see you next week with Katie McMorgan from the Winnipeg band.
Thanks, Todd.
I'm sorry.
So I'm going to do this is just kind of a very gentle, elegant song. It's called "Humbled by the Wonder," and it's a good song to fade out on, I think. So I try to walk in nature every day and look for what God may be directing my eyes, and this song is kind of about that experience. Wandering wide through the forest of life, I am humbled by the wonder of it all. Of it all. I can see there is much more than me. I am humbled by the wonder of it all. Of it all. And floating there, cotton clouds in the air, I am humbled by the wonder of it all. Of it all. The gentlest breeze makes me weak in the knees. I am humbled by the wonder of it all. Of it all. And mystery, deep as the sea. And we're so small, I am humbled by the wonder of it all. Oh, bird on the wing, and I can't help but sing. I am humbled by the wonder, humbled by the wonder of it all, of it all. Spiders weave, and here my heart's on my sleeve. I am humbled by the wonder, humbled by the wonder of it all, of it all. Mystery, deep as the sea, and I am so small. I am humbled by the wonder of it all. Ooh. One at a time, every heart will align. I am humbled by the wonder, humbled by the wonder of it all, by the wonder. I'm humbled by the wonder of it, I'm humbled by the wonder, humbled by the wonder of it all, humbled by the wonder of it all, humbled by the wonder of it all. God bless you all.